Good evening and welcome to another edition of Teen Sports Chatter. As always, I'm your host, Kunal Singh. We're here in mid-October, very busy time in the sports world. So we have playoff baseball right in the midst of everything, right in the midst of the playoffs. And then we have got the grind of football 5 weeks in, so we're going to be talking a lot about that. And then in late October, near Halloween, we're going to have the NBA starting. So we're going to be giving you guys a full NBA prediction coming up later in the show. But I want to start with football. Before that, I want to introduce the set. As always, Jonathan Davis on my right. On my left, I have Ethan Christensen and Josh Bain. Neither of them are Steelers fans, but they seem to be sporting black and gold. So with that, so we're 5 weeks into the season. We've got 6 teams that are undefeated. So a few surprises, like the Ginge Flow and Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. They're undefeated. So any thoughts on specific teams through Week 5?
Hey, you just stole my words right out of my mouth. Cincinnati is a big surprise right now, especially with a running offense that's kind of shaky right now, to be honest. I mean, you know, Jeremy Hill did have 3 touchdowns that one game on 9 carries for 40 yards.
Of course, I was playing him in fantasy.
It's looking more like Giovanni Bernard's going to be the starter on that team. Yeah. So I don't really know what they're doing, but their passing game is on fire.
Just like, do you know why? Just like Dalton's hair, just like my hair. Just
another quick team, the Jets, who have kind of had a history of being pretty bad. Their defense stunning.
Number 1 in points allowed in the whole league.
Yeah, I'd say my big surprise right now is the 6 undefeated teams in the NFL. This is the first time in the NFL history that this amount of teams has made it through the first 5 to 6 weeks without losing a game.
Oh, what a nice fact right there, buddy.
Yeah. So Carolina is my big surprise team. I think that I didn't expect them to win their first 4 games. I had them going 8-8 in our first show.
Oh, especially because,
but I had them winning the division. I had them winning the division.
With Kelvin Benjamin out.
Yeah.
Especially because they have no offense.
Yeah. But I've been very. I've been very pleasantly surprised with the way that they've been able to grind and win out games.
Yeah, I agree. Their defense has been
defense looking good.
Yeah, my surprise is actually from the same division, the Falcons. I mean, they didn't even have a winning record last year, and you know, there's not too much difference.
You got to give some of the credit to Devontae Freeman.
I think Dan Quinn.
And you got to give most of it to Dan Quinn, who came over from the Seahawks.
It's like literally the exact same team.
Kyle Shanahan is calling a beautiful game with what they have, having a top wide receiver. Now it seems like Devontae Freeman seems like a top running back, and Matty Ice always.
I think you're finally seeing the Falcons start to use their potential, all the weapons they have.
And it's weird because they're not even using Roddy White right
now. No, he's been like
Leonard Hankerson has more receiving yards.
Hey, but Roddy did catch a touchdown tonight. Beautiful factoid right there.
Yeah, and I got a little fun fact, just trying to match yours. Offensive-wise, we talk about how teams who score more are winning a lot more, and so 4 out of the 5 top scorers in terms of points for in the league are all undefeated except the Cardinals, who are 4-1. So that just shows that 4 out of the 5 top scorers are undefeated teams. That just shows how important offense is.
Still leading their division.
Cardinals, still they're 4-1.
Above Seattle.
Yeah, above everyone else in that division, including your San Francisco 49ers, 1-4. Okay, and so I know we made prediction changes before the season started. So do you guys want to change any of your predictions with the way things are unfolding?
I'm just going to stick with Packers, Patriots. I mean, I think it's clear the Patriots are the #1 team in the AFC, if not the NFL. Tom Brady's playing out of his mind. And then on the other side, you got Aaron Rodgers, who's just probably the best quarterback in the league right now.
Oh, yeah.
And is, you know, making a name for himself, passing records right now.
Agreed.
I'm going to make a little change.
The Colts.
Yeah, originally I picked the Colts. I think a lot of people expected the Colts to come out red hot, coming off an AFC Championship appearance last season. But I haven't been very impressed at all. Luck's gotten off to a real rocky start. I'm going to New England, who's come off a red hot start.
Looking like 2007.
It is a little bit.
Congrats, boys.
The only red thing on the Colts is Andrew Luck's inflammatory response in his shoulder.
Look, for me, it's pretty clear. It's the Patriots and it's the Packers. There's no other team that really stands out that much as those two teams. I mean, you look at the Packers and the Patriots, they just have so many weapons. Their offense is so great. And they have a pretty good defense.
Without Jordy Nelson, the Packers are still so dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, even Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, who cares? They have James Jones and Randall Cobb.
They brought Ty Montgomery.
They brought James Jones in from like the Giants, and within the first week,
the Giants got cut.
Yeah, he got cut from the Giants. Yeah. He caught like 2 touchdown passes for like 78 yards.
And someone picked him up. Someone picked him up on the waiver wire. We'll talk about the waiver wire in a little bit. But, yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction. I said Denver. I think their defense is superb. And I think Manning is going to throw less passes. They're going to run the ball more. I know C.J. Anderson's on your fantasy team.
Manning in the playoffs is questionable.
So yeah, I think his arm, he throws ducks. He literally is.
Oh, yeah.
He's better at the nationwide commercials, like. He's better at commercials than quarterback, but I still think they're going to make it because of the defense. And I think they have one really good cover corner in Talib, and then a really good slot corner in Chris Harris Jr. Two top 10 corners, I think.
Oh, definitely.
And the linebacking core is superb.
Goodness, yeah.
And then to disappointments and surprises.
Surprises, I think everyone's got to go with Devontae Freeman. No one really saw this coming out. I mean, he's just unbelievable. He can catch and he can run. You know, a skill set that not many running backs have in this league. Disappointment, C.J. Anderson.
Fantasy team.
Oh my.
Yeah. We'll get to fantasy in a few.
Yeah, I'll get to that later.
I've got for disappointments, I've got Indy and Tennessee. I know people might not think Tennessee is a surprise disappointment, but after their first week, I thought they were going to be really hot. I know I thought Bishop Sankey was going to be pretty good.
As did I last year.
That turned out to be wrong.
Yeah.
But I thought the way Mariota played that game, I thought they were going to be like 2-2.
He set the NFL record.
They just don't really have a great receiving core.
They don't really.
If he had some receivers, he'd be great.
Justin Hunter and Kendall Wright.
It's more developmental than I thought.
Sure.
I thought they were going to kind of come in and be like pretty, not like dominant, but almost kind of, they would win some games.
It's a good defense too.
Yeah, they're not a bad. I don't think they're a bad football team. I just don't think they're as good as I thought they were.
Yeah, they're all also a very young team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a few years to put it together. Obviously, Andrew Luck being in that division doesn't help, and DeAndre Hopkins being in that division doesn't help either, because he seems like one of the most dominant receivers in that.
Yeah, my two disappointments are my Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. I really thought Miami was going to be good this year. I've talked so much about Ryan Tannehill, but time after time he keeps on proving me wrong. You know, in my opinion, they're really paying this guy for a reason, but it's clear that Miami made a mistake with him.
And
Miami's a mess right now.
How much of that do you think came from the coaching Joe Philibom, who they just fired?
Look, Miami and Tannehill, they weren't very good last season, so I think it's partly from the coaching, but they're not going to have this random tight end coach come in and change everything.
Yeah.
I don't think Miami's going to get that much better unless they make a huge coaching change, which I don't think it's going to happen
Have
this
you seen Miami's new coach? Speaking of huge, his muscles.
Oh
my
boy.
God, he's a tight end coach for sure. And then I'm surprised none of you guys, for disappointment, said the Chiefs. They're like really good defense. Alex Smith seems to be improving. They have a top tight end, top running back who unfortunately
Big disappointment with Charles.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're 1-4. They're really struggling. Even the division isn't that good.
I think even a worse disappointment is the Lions.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
I can't believe none of us said that.
Yeah.
The Lions are terrible.
They're 0-5.
They're just everything is chaotic about that team.
Yeah.
They just
There's
seem
no
like
running
they don't really
back,
know what
there's
they're doing. Like
no passing game.
There's
Yeah, they're
nothing
just-
there. Nothing for them is
You have
Yeah.
going.
Megatron and you can't even use him.
And Golden Tate's a really quick
He's
slot
quick.
receiver. And then you have the core of running backs with Abdullah. And then
Joyke Bell.
you have Abdullah, Joyke Bell, and
yeah,
Theo
they're,
Riddick.
they're definitely not
Zach
lacking
Zenner.
talent.
Yeah.
They're not lacking talent.
And
Talent isn't their
I
issue.
think a lot of it lays on Matthew Stafford
Yeah.
at this point.
And he got benched. He got benched again
Yep.
last week. That's awful. It's inexplicable for a team like that with so much talent. I know a lot of people even had them going deep in the playoffs.
They usually start the year out really well
Yeah,
too.
too. Yeah, I
They
agree
end up
with that.
kinda
And their
slowing
schedule
down
hasn't
later,
even
but
been that hard. For surprises, I got the Panthers. They're really, really good for not having too much. They're kind of just grinding out these wins, even though they're not in a great division. And the Jets, defense, so good.
Leonard Williams.
And then I know another thing we wanted to talk about is injuries. So we had Big Ben going down. Sadly, Tony Romo going down. Jamal Charles just went down. T-Mobile, Tyrod Taylor's hurt. So do you guys think any of those big injuries or any other ones besides that are going to have big impacts on the teams going forward?
Look, I mean, I think you're looking at a Steelers team that was reliant on Antonio Brown for much of their offense when it wasn't going to Le'Veon
And
Bell.
the connection.
I agree.
The connection between Big Ben
That
to
just
Antonio.
shows like how important the
He had
quarterback
like 3
wide receiver-
receptions for 45 yards the last game.
He had like the longest streak in NFL history of five plus receptions,
you,
50
Michael
plus
Vick.
yards.
Thank you, Michael
Michael
Vick,
Vick
yep.
just screws it all up.
Yep.
He can't throw like a 3-yard out route to Antonio Brown when the game's on the line. And then against the Chargers, they line up Bell for the game-winning play. Who puts a running back? That's incredible. Michael Vick is so bad,
Yeah, definitely.
even though he can run.
It's kind of the obvious choice, but I got the Cowboys. Definitely Des Bryant and Tony Romo.
Oh.
It's really sad to see that because they started out with a really promising game, really promising win against the Giants.
And I know as Patriots fans, we were like, we marked that game.
Yeah,
like, oh my God. Like,
I thought it was going to be a shootout.
Originally, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we need Tom Brady. The suspension needs to
Yeah.
be at least 2 games.
Yeah.
And then going there, Brandon Weeden, that's just terrible. Matt Castle's going to play
It's just their 2
Oh,
best
boy.
players like out.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruined their season, I think.
And Greg Hardy
2
was
really good
suspended.
players.
Yeah.
Not the fact that they're the team's best players, but they're 2 of the best at their position.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt.
Oh,
And Greg Hardy was out.
I had them in the playoffs, had them winning the division. Now it's
Rip.
not looking
It's
so hot.
Rip Cowboys.
Well, I actually have an injury that hasn't gotten much press. Terrell Suggs out for the season.
Yeah, that's big for the Baltimore
Ravens are already struggling pretty badly, and then you take a leader and a player like Terrell Suggs out for the whole season. I think
it's a big hurt to your defense.
this is
Niner fans know what you feel.
This is the first time Suggs, Ed Reed, and Ray Lewis, they haven't been in a game.
My
One
God.
of them
Probably
hasn't
for
been
like
in
20
games.
years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I've got another big injury I want to add, actually. Justin Tuck for the Oakland
Raiders.
Raiders.
Dude, the
Oh,
Raiders
that's
don't even look bad.
The
That's
Raiders
huge,
have
yeah.
gotten off to an incredibly impressive start, at least
They
in my
haven't won
mind.
that many games.
But
they've
they've stuck
eaten it.
around in all of them.
They're like
They've
2-3
stuck
right now.
They've stuck around.
They've stuck around in all of them.
They
And I
almost
think
beat-
Justin
they almost beat
Tuck,
Denver.
Justin Tuck,
They're
I
good.
think, is a much bigger piece than people realize. And
Yeah.
I think the Raiders defense that has been so good up to this point will struggle without him.
I know Derek Carr. You guys I don't know if you saw this, but I was listening to an interview with him, and he said the reason he threw that last pick is he heard like the Blue Angels flying in San Francisco, and it messed him up. Obviously, it's an excuse. It's like a dumb excuse.
You can't
No,
blame
but
it
he's a
all.
rookie quarterback. I think they have a very promising future in AC/DC or
and he's better than
Amari
Kaepernick,
Cooper
so
and
that's
Derek Carr. Kaepernick played well. You gotta give him
Still
a
better
little
than
snack.
Kaepernick.
And so I want to go back to the 6 undefeated teams, which are the Bengals with the ginge flow of Andy Dalton. We got the Pats in Denver, who are always relevant, so no, not too big of a surprise there. But then we got the Falcons, the Packers, and the Panthers. So which teams are for real and which teams aren't for real?
I think you're looking at a Carolina Panthers team that's
Not
just
for real.
really not for real. I mean, really not for real. Look, they don't have Luke Kuechly. Their
Yeah,
offense is run
that's
off of
big for
basically
them.
Ted Ginn Jr. and I don't even know
Jonathan
who else.
Stewart.
Jonathan
I mean,
Stewart
it's
can't
Cam,
run
it's
the
ball.
Cam
Isn't
Newton
doing
doing anything.
It's Cam Newton doing everything, and he's
Yeah.
not going to keep this up. He will be a top 10 quarterback. He'll be like a top 6, 7 quarterback probably.
because he just does it all himself.
But I'm going to predict that they're going to end up probably 8-8.
I said my bold prediction is they're not going to finish over 500.
I wouldn't say 8-8. I'd give them 10 wins.
Because their division's weak.
I'd say their hot start is definitely going to help them.
They're looking like the Lions. That's what I'm saying. They're looking
I
like the
could see that. I
Lions.
could see that.
they're looking
Okay.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Lions, but like they're 5-0. All right, they're 4-0, and the Lions are 0-5.
Yeah.
It's very weird. What about you?
I think Cincy's gonna fizzle out, but my big team that I think is a little overrated is the Broncos. And I know
I hope so.
their defense is really good, like crazy good. But Peyton is having I think like one of his worst starts, if not his worst start in his career. Like he's not there right now.
Their
I don't think-
O-line has been playing horribly.
Oh,
too.
you know, no,
He's
yeah.
under pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about a Peyton Manning run offense or a
Yeah.
Tom Brady offense where they are almost never even touched.
Yeah.
They're their prized possessions.
Yeah.
You know, you're not letting Brady or Manning
Yeah.
ever get hurt, and Brady's just
I
getting hit
I
left and
think
right.
it's weird to see a Peyton Manning led team not scoring 50 points,
Yeah.
45
I
points,
agree.
But
40.
they're
He's
only-
relying on the defense.
Yeah.
Peyton's defense is now winning.
I mean, the
his
way they
games.
beat the Chiefs on that
And
fumble
the
for
they-
the
they
first
should've
down.
lost to
that
the-
was,
the
that
way
was
they beat the
wacky.
Raiders.
the way they
That
beat
was
the Raiders
wacky.
last week was like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of Denver, I want to talk about the Denver defense. We're going to move over to fantasy. Denver defense has been the best player on Denver.
Yep.
Any fantasy owner. You have Demarius and CJ. Seems like an awesome pick. First and second round, 9th and
No.
9th and 12th, 8th and 12th.
Yeah.
That's tough for you. So any strong, weak players you guys have from the season so far?
So one player that kind of, comes to mind is DeAndre Hopkins. He's getting a lot of targets. I think he got 22 targets in one of his recent games.
Yeah.
Caught like 9 of them.
He's
I mean,
the only-
If you get 22
only
targets
option,
in
I
the game,
think.
I don't care what your name is or what position you play,
Right.
you're going to have a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to catch the ball and you're going to get some yardage. Other than that, Larry Fitzgerald's starting off pretty well. He's a strong player right now. I don't see him continuing it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Weak players, Demaryius Thomas, Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy, that was a big one for you.
Oh, yeah.
Taken second overall in a lot of drafts.
I'd say my strong player right now is Gary Barnidge.
Oh, he's not going to keep it up.
Oh, I think he will.
Jeez.
I think he will.
Oh,
I think he will.
no.
I think he will.
You
Look,
think Josh
no.
McCown is gonna keep up the-
Everyone thought he was going to come down against Baltimore, who's given up the least amount of points to tight ends. He had 20 points.
Yeah,
Look,
he also caught a touchdown.
I don't see a whole lot of other options. I don't see a whole lot of options on that Cleveland offense. I think he's going to have a good year.
I see Duke Johnson Jr.
He's the third highest scoring tight end in fantasy football right now.
Crazy, yeah.
So he's my strong player right now. I don't see him cooling down that much. Maybe average around 10 points, maybe not 20, but I think he's going to be a good tight end.
Yeah.
My weak player, I got the Houston defense. I think, granted, I blame their offense for putting them in horrible situations. Like offenses are starting on the 50-yard line.
I mean, if you're giving a defense so much time on the field, they're going to
get
tired.
Exactly. But I feel like with all the talent that Houston's defense had with acquiring like players like Vince Wilfork and Jadeveon Clowney coming back, like they were expected to be a top-tier defense this league. I definitely expected them to be a top-tier defense, and they've been nothing but pretty bad.
I agree. Yeah, and people drafted them early in fantasy. Thought
like me.
They're going to be a sack machine.
My hot player is Andy Dalton. I actually think the Bengals are going to be able to keep this production up. They have a lot.
In the regular season.
Andy Dalton has a lot of talent around him. So I really think Andy Dalton, he's for real. And keep him rostered.
I like his wide receiver.
You said Dalton, you said Fitz. I have for trade away, I have both of those players. I think it's just they're too hot to handle. Yeah. And I definitely think they're going to cool down. But I don't know if people can handle the Randall. Do you think he's going to keep up a solid start?
Well, Christine Michael might get the start week.
Crystal clean.
No one knows if it's Christine or Kristen, but he's a good running back.
But either way, he might get the start week 7.
He will get the start week 7.
He could prove that he's a lot better than Randall.
I agree. So I said trade away Dalton Fitz. If you can get McCoy for any value, I think he's awful, and he's number 3 running back in Buffalo.
I mean, if there's any time you can really get anything for him, you got to go now because
Yeah,
he's not getting it.
I agree. Yeah. And what do you guys trade for or trade away? Anybody?
I mean, trade away Fitz. I agree with you. He's old.
Way too hot.
I mean, you saw him last year, and I mean, it was absolutely awful. I kept starting on my team in hopes, but you know.
And I think their running game's really good. Between they have four good running backs. David Johnson.
Trade for, no one really came to mind too quickly, but pick up Christine Michael. He's poised to have a good start.
Sure.
I'd say trade for Todd Gurley if you can get him. He was
gonna
kind
be
of a
hard.
risky. He's kind of a risky pick coming off his ACL tear, but he's been heating up the league, especially with Nick Foles not having too many receiving options. They're going to be running the ball a lot, I think, in St. Louis.
Yep.
He's running behind a pretty decent offensive line, so if you can get your hands on Todd Gurley, I'd say go for it.
Sure.
My trade away, I'd say Cam Newton. I'm a little skeptical about that because I think he's going to maintain a pretty steady level of good play. I think he's going to cool down, kind of going off of what JD said. I think he's going to slow down a little bit just because his weapons aren't there.
And quickly, Josh, anyone?
Yeah, my guy to trade for is TJ Yeldon, just because I think that Jaguars offense is really going to pick up.
Sure.
And then the guy to trade away is Antonio Gates. He came off that 4-game suspension.
Suspension looked really good for Philip Rivers. So with that, we're going to be done with football. We're going to make a quick little set change. So I want to use that time to kind of give you an update on baseball. We're in the middle of the playoffs. We have the AL is set. We have the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. It's an all-blue kind of American League final. That's going to be a really fun series. I think the Blue Jays and Texas Rangers game, that was crazy. Arguably the craziest inning I've ever seen in my life, and I don't think I'll ever see anything crazier than that, frankly. And then in the NL, we have the Dodgers and the Mets kind of dueling it out right now. Unfortunately, we don't know the score of the game. It's going on right now. It was 2-2 when we last checked. DeGrom and Greinke, it's a studly matchup. And so whoever wins that are going to face the Chicago Cubs, who have a longer drought than us in California with the no supply of water pretty much. But I really hope, I'm pulling for the Cubs, I really hope they can win. It's been, I think, 104, 106 years, something like that. That's pretty crazy. I recommend tuning into the MLB playoffs. I know baseball is really boring, but I don't know, just watch. It's pretty fun. So with that, we're going to go to the NBA. I would like to welcome in Vishal Bomdika to the show for the first time in a while. It's been the NBA offseason, so it's been the Vishal offseason, speaking in general terms. So we have Vishal, JD, Ethan, Josh. Everyone say the same. Just adding on one more. So Vishy, let's start with you. Offseason, what do you got? Anything?
I think the biggest part comes with the draft because for teams that are rebuilding, like the Lakers and Denver and Minnesota, I think they had some big picks. And for Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns. for the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell, who has insane court vision.
He's very good.
And Emmanuel Mudiay for Denver, he's 6'5", 200 pounds, plays point guard. He's bigger than pretty much every point guard in the NBA, a little bit smaller than MC Dub, but I think he's going to be a great addition. And then also, in terms of trades and keeping people, the Clippers. In the past, what's held them back from winning the championship, getting past the second round, is depth. Now they add Paul Pierce, they add Josh Smith, they add Lance Stevenson.
Yeah,
and the biggest part, they kept
DeAndre Jordan.
They got really like, that was like a fiasco, but they got it.
That was
just
so
weird. That was so weird.
It looked like it should be on like an NBA reality TV show. That was crazy.
Oh, they're a very good team. And then I'm just going to kind of update on players coming in. We got DeMar DeCarroll going to Toronto. I think that's a pretty big move. Monte Ellis to the Pacers, and Lance and the Clips kind of rebuffing. But I know you wanted to talk about, I know some teams did things, but you think the Warriors did a lack of.
I wouldn't say they did a lack of at all, and I think I'll actually get to the Warriors a little bit later. Just quick recap, they're not coming in with much different.
Yeah, except coaching-wise.
Coaching-wise, yeah, but that doesn't make it too big a deal.
Change,
Teams are going to catch on no matter what you do. And I still think they'll be #1 in their conference. I still think they'll have a great season. Steph's still going to be a great player. He's a fantastic player, one of the best point guards of all time, currently. I mean, if he keeps this up. But can't quite say that yet, but
we're getting there.
Just one other thing I want to touch on, Ty Lawson going to the Rockets.
That
was
the one position they really needed.
Ridiculous.
You also don't know, that could hold James Harden back a bit.
Yeah,
You're
but
taking
still,
away his ball
he passes the
dominance.
ball out. He gets the ball around.
Yeah.
He's like a solid point guard. No Dwight Howard is
What about
okay.
the defense taking away Patrick Beverly?
I think
They have him. He's not going to play.
I don't think Houston's motto was ever
Defense,
I'm
that's
going to
true.
play
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
I think
It's just
they're
like
going
we're
in
gonna
trying to
shoot
score 130 points a
And
game.
we're going to shoot the most threes in NBA history.
Quick
And
last point, Paul Pierce going to the Clippers. You saw what he did on
veterans,
Washington.
yeah.
Exactly.
I
He hit
call
like 3
game.
game winners. He didn't
The
do anything
big
the whole
game
season.
winner.
When it comes to the playoff time, I don't care how old he is.
called
He hits
game.
some shots.
Yep.
So I want to move into kind of our full prediction of the NBA season. So Josh, let's start it off on this side. You want to talk about, let's go east to west. So we'll start off with the east. Any big trends, teams going up, teams going down, and end it with your top 3 seeds and your last team in the conference.
I mean, it's pretty clear to me that Cleveland is going to dominate. I don't think much has changed in the East, to be completely honest. Maybe the Hawks go down a little bit since the loss of DeMar DeCarroll and how well he fit in that system. I think Washington actually comes up a little bit just because the big rookie.
They're getting better.
I think they're starting to develop their system.
John Wall,
and,
Bradley Beal. They're going to get
I
better
think
every year.
in Washington, everyone's sort of like pitching in.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone's starting to come together. They're starting to really become a team. But as for the last seed in the East, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to have to go with the Celtics. I don't like them at all.
Dude, at least it's a
Hey,
6
all right.
seed.
All right. I agreed with Josh up until that last point. I think the Celtics are going to have a good year. They didn't add any. They came into the offseason looking to add like a big superstar to kind of build their franchise around.
They added just a few good pieces.
They added a. I wouldn't even say a few. I think they added a bunch of good pieces. I
wouldn't say a bunch. I would say a few.
No, I think Amir Johnson, David Lee. I think we're gonna have a really deep team. When I say
we is the
Celtics. The Celtics are gonna have a very deep team that like there's not gonna be much drop off from their starting 5 to their next 5.
Yeah, and they're very deep at the point guard.
David Lee gonna
position.
start.
See, but here's the problem. Your starting 5 is pretty bad.
No, I disagree. I just flat out disagree with you.
It's not pretty bad. It's just
you got to
pretty
consider
average.
they're in the East and they made the 6th seed last year. And they
Isaiah
got better.
Thomas is good.
Sorry.
Marcus Smart's on the. All right, I'll get off the Celtics, but I think that the top 3 teams in the East this year are going to be Cleveland, Chicago, and Washington. Although I do think that Paul Pierce leaving Washington is going to be bigger because I think he was a really good leader.
Some veteran presence right there.
The kids, John Wall and Bradley Beal, really needed. We'll see. We'll see if that continues on. But I think Paul Pierce is going to be pretty big.
And I know this may sound dumb, but he's a very good free throw shooter in the clutch. And God, Hack-a-Shaq is so annoying, and that's what it's going to come down to in a lot of games.
My last team in is the Hornets. I know people were kind of picking the Hornets to make the playoffs last year. I think I'm giving them another shot this year.
Jeremy
I think Kemba, not so much on Jeremy Lin, but Kemba. I think
he's not a big piece at all.
I think Kemba with maybe Frank Kaminsky. I don't know.
They just got Nicholas Batum.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget
Al
Jefferson.
Al Jefferson. They've got talent.
I think Al Jefferson will step it up.
I think
agree.
Yeah, so I think we're all kind of in agreement that Cleveland, Chicago are top 2, and maybe Toronto and Washington. I have the Bucks in there, actually. I know you two
I would take
paid.
Toronto.
You take Toronto, and who's your
like
third?
The Hawks.
The Hawks, yeah. I got the Bucks because of their defense, and they're very young and athletic. I like them. So since we kind of look at the East a lot more, and I know you two are both Dubs fans, so you guys look at the West. Give me your kind of same breakdown of the West.
So for the West, at the #1 seed, I have the Warriors again. I have no chance they're gonna match 67 again, but I do think they'll hit 60. They'll hit 60 plus. I know that for a fact. And then I think at #2 you have Oklahoma having a great Oklahoma City Thunder.
I don't know if they're two. Though.
They're gonna have I think they're gonna have a great bounce back.
Two.
I agree.
And,
I agree.
Yeah, and I have the Clippers. Considering their
gonna make the
offseason
Western
acquisitions, Clippers are gonna be the 3rd seed. And then coming out of there, I have the Warriors and OKC in the conference finals, and the Warriors squeaking it out and get into the NBA finals back to back.
So there's one thing I don't really agree with you there. I love the Warriors pick, of course. I love the Clippers pick. They're a good team. They're competitive. I just don't have faith in OKC. I think Kevin Durant right now is a frustrated player. I think he wanted to do a lot last season. That was his time to really show his eliteness, putting up on Mount Rushmore of basketball players.
Yeah.
He's coming into this season. You saw some of his tweets last year. He was not a happy camper.
Yeah, guys, Jonathan Davis pays attention to players' Twitters.
Look, I'm just saying Oklahoma City's not going to be in the top 5 in the West.
But what if Kevin Durant does stay healthy?
I see them. That's where I see
It's
them.
such a either you have him high, you have him low. Also depends on Billy Donovan's new system.
Oh, that's
they have
true.
a lot. They have a lot of good players around in Serge Ibaka and Enes Kanter, Steven Adams coming off the bench.
Steven Adams could be good.
Coming off the bench.
One thing I just wanted to focus on really quickly was Portland just
dished
I'm
everyone.
sorry, Damian.
Lillard's going to have a year.
They're out the back door.
I don't know if Damian can carry a team.
No, I'm saying
He's not going to carry it. Going down. It'll allow Damian to
Going
grow
way
until they add that second
you guys
superstar
wanna-
to replace LaMarcus, but yeah.
Do you guys want to give me your last team in?
My last team in, I think it's the Rockets, but
As like their 8th
no,
seed.
no,
I mean,
yeah.
as like the
you mean like the
8th
8th seed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, 8th seed.
Honestly,
Just kind of,
I think the Kings.
The
Yes,
Kings.
The Kings.
John, yes.
You know, a lot of people call them the Queens over the year because they haven't had.
They are the Queens. I completely disagree. The Kings.
They're pretty good
Okay,
with Weber.
just give me
and
your
Kings
last.
are gonna be
Okay,
good.
The Kings aren't
They
that
got
bad.
scammed in OT.
Give me
Yeah,
your last
seriously.
in and start the finals predictions because we're running out of time.
Okay, so I have the Jazz as the last in.
I like the Jazz. They
from
finished very well.
Yeah, from the All-Star break last year, I think they were the 2nd best team in the
Yeah.
NBA behind
Yeah.
the Warriors.
Obviously.
And
Warriors.
okay, they were okay.
They were
anyways.
the best team clearly.
So and then they kept. I think their talent is gonna keep growing. You have Dante Exum. He didn't do like
And he's got
anything
the
last year.
stifle tower.
But yeah, Rudy Gobert, great defensive player.
All right, and you want to give me your finals prediction?
Yeah.
Who's winning it?
I think
Keep
it's
it quick.
Warriors, Cleveland, Warriors in 6.
I think it's Warriors, Cleveland.
Oh, he changes his prediction on the
in
spot.
5.
Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5.
Jesus Christ.
I got Paul Pierce hitting a Game 7 buzzer beater to beat the Clippers.
That's never happened in NBA
beat,
history.
To beat
a
to
Game
beat,
7 buzzer beater.
To beat the Warriors. I think I'll take Clippers and Cleveland. I just changed my pick. Yeah.
Oh,
Clippers and Cleveland. Clippers and
Tinkerbell.
Cleveland and Golden State. Cleveland winning in 7.
So everyone's got Golden State. I got to go against the trend. I think the Spurs got one more year in them. I think
Really?
they do.
LaMarcus is gonna
Really?
bring
I think
them down.
LaMarcus
Although-
hurts them.
Somehow,
hurts
it's
them,
gonna bring
hurts
them
them.
down.
He's not a good system.
Although LaMarcus kind of hurts the system, I think he's a very good player, very talented player. Look, you can tell me all you
No,
want.
going off the
He's
tweets
still
like
really
JD.
good. So I got Spurs in Cleveland. I got the Spurs winning it one last time, and I think I'm going to start a new tradition here on the show. I'm going to start ending every show. No, it's not bad. I'm going to start ending every show with a sports quote. So my sports quote for this week is that sports don't build character, they reveal it. Thank you guys for your time.